Boys and girls. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the Fallout TV show. Now, Fallout is a TV show that's based on a video game series, which I am definitely a fan of. I played Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 4. I thought Fallout 3 was a good game. I thought Fallout New Vegas was a great game. And I thought Fallout 4 was a disappointment in comparison to the first two games. However, even though I knew this TV series existed, I never really gave it a chance because I just kind of assumed as a TV show based on a video game, I assumed it wouldn't be good. But I was wrong. The reality of the situation is this show is good. I don't know if it's great, but it is good. Off rip, the actors do a really good job of portraying these characters, and particularly I believe the main character is a young lady who's from a vault. And I think the actor does a good job of kind of portraying that vault like innocence of growing up in a sheltered environment. And I think she's really a realistic portrayal of what somebody would kind of look like growing up in a vault, which is kind of a curated, sheltered experience. I think she does a really good job as the lead. But it's a bit of an ensemble cast. It mainly focuses on her. She's one of the main characters, and there's a ghoul as well as a member of the Dark Brotherhood, and they kind of make up the trio of the main characters. However, you also follow her little brother as well. So this show, it actually jumps around a lot, and this could have easily been messed up, because jumping around from character to character can create issues because a lot of times audiences will prefer one story over another. But I think in this case, in season one, I think they do a really good job of it. I think the majority of the stories are interesting. In particular, I really enjoyed the mystery of the vaults, the relationship between Vault 31, 32, and 33. I thought that mystery was handled really well. And I think the uncovering of that mystery was one of the better parts of this series. I also think the actor who plays the ghoul and just his character is just very fascinating just because of, like, there's so much backstory to this character that you learn more in season two, but in season one you don't know the backstory, and he just kind of comes off as, an asshole, for lack of a better word. But eventually you do begin to understand kind of where he's coming from to an extent. But I mean, he's definitely kind of the character that is kind of most like a Fallout protagonist in the sense that he has advanced weaponry, he can fight, and he has a mission to find his family. Essentially, you mentioned figure out, which is something that Fallout characters often have as their main objective. I do feel though how the Dark Brother, not Dark Brother, Brotherhood of Steel, his character, I do believe he's the weakest. I just feel as though something about the way he acts just feels off. And I think that might be intentional, but it's just like, I don't even know exactly how to explain it, but he just doesn't feel, he just feels off. He's not doing a bad job or anything. It's just something about the way he speaks his lines. I don't know. I'm just not vibing with it. I do think that the villain, the twist villain of it being her dad, the main character's dad being the main villain, I thought that was a pretty cool twist. I like how it's not, obvious off rip, and it's definitely something that is surprising to an extent. But I think all in all, I think the show does a good job of portraying the chaos of this wasteland into a TV show form. And in watching this TV show, it really shows like, oh, obviously Fallout would be a good show to make a TV show off of because there's just so much lore, there's so many different factions, there's so much that you can delve into that doesn't really get delved into as much within the games. So I think season one is good. I think they don't bite off more than they can chew, and it's not really based off any Fallout game in particular. It's kind of its own thing, and I do think that works to its advantage. However, Fallout, the season 2 of Fallout, is heavily based on Fallout New Vegas, and you would think that'd be right up my alley because New Vegas is one of probably my favorite RPGs I've ever played. However, the reality is that this season, I feel, kind of gets lost in the sauce. I felt like season 1 was very focused. Find the dad was the main overall plot, and then you also had the side plot with the discovering of the reality of Vault 31, 32, and 33. But I think they get a little too spread out in terms of different characters doing different things. And then the overall issue is it felt like at a certain point, these characters had minimal connection to each other. And I felt the plots didn't feel like they supported each other. They felt distant. So then you'd have episodes where certain characters would just be non-existent. You'd have episodes where you're following a plot line you do like, and then they'll switch to one you don't like. And for whatever reason, season 1, even though they were flipping around, it felt more consistent in what it was trying to do. Where here, it felt as though they kind of bit off a little more than they can chew because they're trying to set up all this backstory. There's tons of flashbacks, character switches. It can be a lot, and it's not bad. It never gets egregious, but it does feel slightly less focused than season 1. And as far as its connection to New Vegas, it follows a lot of the factions that exist within New Vegas, and particularly Mr. House, and kind of his backstory. And that was cool to see as somebody who actually, when I played New Vegas, I sided with Mr. House. It was cool to kind of see his backstory and things of that nature. That being said, that Caesar and his Legion, as well as the NCR, were introduced here. And I just feel as though they were underdeveloped. I really feel as though they could have done more with these factions. And Macaulay Culkin being the Caesar guy. I mean, Macaulay Culkin. I mean, maybe I'm just hating on the actor, but I didn't really see him as a Caesar of any sort. And the NCR is like, I guess, a shell of their former self, and there's backstory to that, but I don't know, they didn't give much of a presence. And then there's this whole thing with these death claws, and I mean, the CGI is okay, but I mean, the action isn't anything groundworthy, and the final episode is a lot of action of the guy from the Brotherhood fighting these death claws, and the action is fine. It's not bad, but it's not blowing me away either. And it kind of sounds like I'm being really negative on this season, and it's I don't want y'all to think I don't like it. It's just there's a lot more meat to criticize with season 2, I believe. But what season 2 does do right, I will admit, it does a good job of kind of setting up Mr. House as being, kind of a terrifying, kind of presence for sure. And I think the young lady's dad plays a really good villain. I think he, when he just shows up on screen, you just like, ooh, like, I want to see him go down. You know what I mean? I think he does a really good job of that. And I think his whole, mind control device plot line and how he feels it's a better alternative to the Wasteland as it is now. I think they did good stuff there, and I'll definitely be tuning in for season 3. Absolutely. I think this is has to be one of the better video game adaptations out there, and I recommend you watch it, especially if you've played the Fallout games. Recommend you watch it, and honestly, even if you haven't played the Fallout games, I do think there's stuff to be enjoyed here. But obviously, if you've played it, you'd enjoy it a lot more. So, in total, I will give this series 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching.